Good morning, Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt to the Point, live from the state-of-the-art Pitt studios. I'm Margo Rental.
And I'm Mia Wadella. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pitt to the Point is your one-hour news magazine show that covers everything at the University of Pittsburgh to its regional campuses,
to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international news. We'll be covering everything from entertainment, politics, and sports.
And we'll be sure to keep you updated on all things Pittsburgh, all the way to the point.
Since February 2022, Russia has been at war with Ukraine, and it is not over yet.
Today, we are joined live with the Ambassador of Ukraine to the United States, Oksana Markarova. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Madam Ambassador.
Good morning, Pittsburgh.
Thank you. So Ukraine is a NATO partner country, which means that it cooperates closely with NATO, but it is not covered by the security guaranteed in the alliance's founding treaty. What are the sentiments of most Ukrainians regarding NATO membership?
Thank you. That's a very important question. Ukrainians always wanted to come back to Europe, come back to the transatlantic family, which we unfortunately were deprived of during the Soviet occupation. So since 1991, Ukrainians worked really hard in order to move back to Europe. And NATO is a very important security alliance, which Ukrainians wanted to be part of. We tried in 2008, if you remember, to get the membership action plan. And since 2014, actually, when the war started, when Russia attacked us the first time, everyone understood in Ukraine, and the majority of Ukrainians supported Ukraine's accession into NATO. That's why we were moving as close as possible, and we got the EOP status, which is the extended partnership with NATO. Now, this year, the International Republican Institute conducted a survey in Ukraine, and the results are even higher than what we have known before, that the majority of Ukrainians supported. 82% of Ukrainians actually expressed support for Ukraine's membership in NATO, while 85% supports Ukraine's membership in the European Union. So we can say that, the overwhelming majority of Ukrainians see Ukraine in NATO. And what we see now on the battlefield, how our armed forces are more successful, even though they're outnumbered, because we already use the NATO standards, because we're transitioning to NATO type of equipment, and because the values and principles that we're building Ukraine on and building our armed forces and everything are those of the, we can say, collective West, or we can say the civilized countries, or we can say the NATO countries.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your insight. So when Russia annexed Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia last October, the United States immediately placed sanctions against Russian people and companies. So in your opinion, how effective have these sanctions been since?
Very effective. So again, there were some sanctions rolled after the initial invasion in 2014. But of course, what we've seen after February 24th, when not only the United States, but all community together, all the sanctions were coordinated with the European Union and other countries, have been rolling at an unprecedented scale. So sanctions against individuals who are responsible and involved in this aggression, sanctions against companies and banks that are fueling the war with their money and involved in the efforts, sanctions and export controls also importantly, in order to decrease Russia's ability to do this malign aggressive acts. So sanctions have been very effective. We already see some decline in the Russian economy. We already see how they lack the high precision weapons, how they are less and less effective, but we are not yet where we can say that sanctions are sufficient. So right now, more than a year, 13 months after this reinvasion and the start of the full-fledged war, the goal is actually to continue to strengthen sanctions, to double down on everything that we can do in order to stop Russia, essentially. And also very important area on which the US is focusing, Ukraine and our allies, is to prevent the sanctions evasion by some other players. So this is also a big area of interest. But in short, in addition to weapons, more weapons, in order to get to peace faster, we need also tighter sanctions in order to stop Russia faster.
Absolutely. I do hope those sanctions continue in their effectiveness. So in December, President Zelensky visited President Biden and spoke to a joint session of Congress. On a personal level, can you please share with us your reaction and emotions?
It was historic visit. From traveling from the airport with President to the White House, to Congress, seeing how people on the streets reacted to the cortege and waved to us, and such an overwhelming support from the American people, but also the meeting itself, both with President Biden and administration, and of course with all the leaders in Congress and speech to Congress. It was clear to us that, this partnership, the strategic friendship, I would even say, between our countries is not just something of this moment, but it's built on the common shared values and principles. And what we hear the United States saying that U.S. is with us as long as it takes, and the support that we feel was felt again on a personal level during this visit here.
Absolutely. So speaking of United States support, thus far, the U.S. has provided Ukraine with $2 billion in the military assistance, the Patriot missile system, tanks, and an additional $500 million in aid. What additional assistance from the United States can we expect or hope to see in the near future?
Well, yes, this year the assistance has been already huge, but if we count from the beginning of this full-fledged war, it has been dozens of billions of US dollars, and we are very grateful for everything that US has done to provide this bilateral assistance to us, but also for leading in security assistance and organizing what we call the Ramstein Group, which now consists of more than 54 countries that get together to coordinate how they can together help us more. I wish we could say, that we already won and there is nothing needed more. But unfortunately, we still need to win. And the very hard battles that we have in the East and South, and the need to liberate our territories and our people, because we know what happens to them under occupation, the torture, rapes, kidnapping of Ukrainian children, and forcefully taking them to Russia. So we need to sustain this support. We need to stay the course, as military people say. And we really count on the United States and all our friends and allies to invest a little bit more in us, to give us more security assistance and budget assistance, so we can actually finish it this year, as President Zelensky says. We really hope 2023 will be a victorious year, and we all can not only have a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, but for all of us it's important, so that the whole region and globally we can restore international justice.
Absolutely. We wish you the utmost support. So for our last question, for our students and alumni around the world, as well as Pittsburgh residents who watch Pitt to the Point, what are things that we can do to be of assistance to Ukraine?
Well, let me start by again saying thank you, because I know how much your students and your residents are already doing. Everything that you do matters. If you put a flag outside of your house, it's very important for us. I know how much flags, American flags, mean to American people. And to see our flag next to American flag is the ultimate sign of support, and it's very important. If you help Ukrainians who are at your university or in your town or live next to you, we're very grateful for that support. For this, we have now almost 200,000 people who came during this time using different programs of support. Of course, all of them dream about coming back, but it's very important that they feel supported and at home while they are temporarily here. If you would like to support any of the initiatives of Ukraine House here in Washington, D.C., we're helping kids who needs prosthetics, or any other initiatives, please check at the embassy website or Ukraine House website. There are a number of initiatives to support there. And of course, very important, continue writing to your congressmen, to your senators, to politicians, expressing that this is what American people support, that this support is not important only for Ukraine, but it's actually in the national security interest of Americans, regardless of the parties, regardless of what differences we all might have. it's a universal, national security interest for all countries that believe in dignity and sovereignty and territorial integrity and freedom, because this is what it is about. We are fighting for our freedom and for not being occupied by a foreign aggressive nuclear state.
I know on behalf of Pitt to the Point, and I hope the rest of the University of Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh community, we thank you so much for all of your support and all the work you have done. It was amazing to hear all of your insight. We wish Ukraine safety and you support through all of this. Thank you, Madam Ambassador.
Thank you, Margot and Mia. Thank you for having me.
All right, the University of Pittsburgh's Rainbow Alliance is a student organization that informs the student body on LGBTQIA+ issues.
The Rainbow Alliance is celebrating its 50th anniversary of being an organization.
Our Pitt beat reporter Nick Faribaugh has more on upcoming events the organization is hosting. Nick?
It's Pride Week here on the University of Pittsburgh's campus for their Rainbow Alliance chapter, and it's their 50th anniversary. It's one of the oldest chapters in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And to commemorate the occasion, there's many celebrations.
It's no ordinary week for Pitt's Rainbow Alliance. In fact, it's their 50th anniversary.
I've been told that we're one of the longest collegiate LGBT student groups in the state of Pennsylvania, which is a really cool honor to have. I think it's really great that there's been a community for LGBT students on campus for this long.
And they're planning to celebrate in grand style. Created back in 1972, Rainbow Alliance has been the hub for LGBTQIA+ students on Pitt's campus since then, and a 3-week-long celebration will commemorate it.
Saturday, Pitt Tonight is having a benefit concert on the lawn called Love on the Lawn, and part of the fundraising that's going to be happening at that concert will go towards Rainbow Alliance. And then Sunday, we're going to be having our 21st annual drag show called the Panther Drag Showcase.
The history of the club is what makes it rich, but more so, it's the community feel that everyone feels when in the Alliance.
We're at the University of Pittsburgh. And then we're all going to say love you on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Love you!
This Pride Week will just be another iteration, but it stands to be one of the best.
Just a really great and really fun opportunity to kind of get together with everyone on campus and connect on, connect on a certain level that a lot of us share.
With anti-trans rhetoric abound on campus, Pride Week sets out to be a celebration of that community along with the entire Rainbow Alliance.
Wouldn't be a pride celebration if there weren't protests happening, and I think that's very true.
While it's Pride Week, it's actually happening over 3 weeks, and there are many events. Love on the Lawn event happens on the 25th. Then on the 26th, you have the Panther Drag Showcase and a bevy of other events through the 7th of April. To see more of the events, go to Rainbow Alliance's Twitter and Instagram. It's all happening here on the University of Pittsburgh's campus as a campus-wide celebration for their 50th anniversary. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt beat reporter Nick Faribaugh. Back to you, Margot and Mia.
What an incredible organization. Thank you so much, Nick. We will be sure to look out for these events. Coming up, we will learn about a Pitt wrestler that had his own victory lights last weekend.
Stay tuned for updates on Pitt women's and men's basketball teams as their seasons came to a finish in recent weeks.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge, as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh. Forge.
More of our good-looking team. Check us out on our social media.
And sorry if you just had any technical difficulties. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Pitt to the Point and on Facebook at Pitt to the Point. Check it out.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been circulating the media recently beyond his recent campaign efforts.
Former President Donald Trump is facing legal issues and is rumored to be getting arrested.
Political reporter Jamie Ely has insight on the details you need to know about this possible arrest. Jamie.
Thanks, Mia. America is standing witness to something that's never happened in its nearly 250-year history. A former president is about to be indicted. Donald Trump is expected to be indicted and arrested any day now in something that could prove to be the spark that ignites the political powder keg of the country.
America is on the precipice of a history-making event. Former President Donald Trump is expected to be indicted by a New York grand jury soon for his involvement in a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels right before the 2016 election. Essentially, Trump, through his lawyer Michael Cohen, paid Daniels because she was threatening to go public about an affair between them in 2006. Trump is not being indicted for making the payments, but for how the payments were documented in the books of the Trump Organization. The money was documented as legal fees, which is a crime under falsifying business records. If Trump were to be indicted, an arrest would follow. It might take several days for Trump to appear at a courthouse, though, as his lawyers and prosecutors are trying to negotiate his surrender. However, it's expected that Trump would experience a similar arrest procedure as an average citizen, including fingerprinting, handcuffing, and potentially a perp walk by several Secret Service members into the courthouse. With news of the arrest also comes heightened security measures, as Trump called for his faithful followers to protest. Despite a small show of people on Tuesday, when Trump said he'd be arrested, NYPD officers, as well as other security officials, are monitoring social media to ensure that Trump's arrest won't turn into another January 6th.
Now, this is not a slam dunk case. In fact, the prior district attorney's office, led by a Democrat, refused to move forward with the case due to its risky nature. The grand jury was supposed to meet this week to discuss the case. However, for some reason, it was called off, so they'll have to wait next week. Until then, America will have to wait and see how the legal saga plays out for the 45th president. For Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Jamie Ely. Margot, Mia.
Thank you for that, Jamie. Pitt to the Point will for sure keep you updated on that. Since 1910, the Pitt News has been providing the Pitt community with accurate and timely news.
That's right, Mia. They provide the student body with coverage on issues that affect students at the university and across the country.
We are proud to feature them on our show. Take a look at their latest headlines.
Ryan Young was elected to serve as the president of the Student Government Board for the 2023-2024 academic year. Alongside the Illuminate slate, Young ran on a platform with the core mission to eliminate sexual misconduct on campus. In addition, all 8 board candidates were elected to serve on next year's board. The Fashion Business Association held their annual fashion show this past weekend. This year's show, EcoVision, Upcycling and Style, was the first FBA fashion show since 2018. The show highlighted the many possibilities and the importance of sustainable fashion. Heinz Chapel celebrates Women's History Month with their annual Woman in the Windows tour. Since 2018, the tour has explored the history of the women that appear in the chapel's stained glass windows. The final 2 dates to take part in this tour are March 26th and March 27th.
I love learning about historical figures. I love learning about historical artwork, especially within churches. And Heinz Chapel is so beautiful. And they have some really cool people in those windows that I didn't even know about. It was free for any Pitt student anyways. The people at Heinz Chapel were so nice. You could tell they wanted to talk about it. And it's Women's History Month. So that's really why I decided to do it now, because they're only running it in March. So they do things every month, every few months, but this is very specific to March for Women's History Month.
We thank you, as always, for joining us on Pitt to the Point. Stay tuned for more on Pitt Sports.
After the break, we will hear from our Pitt sports reporter on how the Pitt men's basketball team finished their remarkable season last week and what's ahead for the Panthers.
Looking forward to it. All that and more when we return.
Is officially back and in the books.
Stefanski just shoots and he scores. They're the winningest team in Pittsburgh history.
Ball sent in. Sullivan, Pittsburgh, 1-0.
Great strike, Michael Sullivan.
Pittsburgh has a share of the ACC title in 2022.
The record set by Tony Dorsett has been broken by Israel Abanikanda here.
The Pitt Panthers are going into the next round for the first time in program history.
The University of Pittsburgh's men's basketball team recently played in the NCAA tournament, otherwise known as March Madness.
Absolutely. Pitt sadly lost to Xavier in the second round on Sunday, March 19th.
Our Pitt sports reporter, Aaron Clark, has more on the future of the team. Aaron.
Thanks, Mia. Well, the Pitt men's basketball team's historic season came to an unfortunate end this past Sunday in the second round of the NCAA tournament as they fell to number 3 seed Xavier 84-73. The Panthers could not keep up with Xavier's offense, which is ranked 7th across Division I basketball, as the Musketeers shot 47% from the field.
People will laugh if you was to tell them we was in this position to start the year out, but here we are. So it's funny because every time we get beat by a team that played better than us, I kind of just accept it. But you're never gonna play with this group again, and this group has literally changed my life. So it hurts. But it's basketball, and that's the sport we love.
I mean, you look at the core of this group, you look at everybody in this, every player on this team, and there's a great sense of competitive energy, a competitive spirit, and we just have a brotherhood, and we don't want to stop dancing with each other. So for us, it's just about continuing to fight. We don't get dismayed about losses, and that was the thing. We didn't get down about losing, the last couple games of the season. We just.
Looking ahead for the program, there are pieces that still remain for another special group to form. Leading scorer and second-team All-ACC honoree Blake Hinson will return, coupled with starting center Federico. We can also expect the freshman 7-foot twins Jorge and Guillermo Diaz-Graham to continue to improve. Now, keeping with the topic of basketball, Pitt administration announced March 3rd that Lance White will not return as head coach for the women's basketball team. White had been with the team for 5 seasons, compiling a record of 42-99. Athletic director Heather Like expressed her gratitude for White's time with the program and wished him the best of luck moving forward. Now, following this announcement, over the past few weeks, 9 women's basketball players for Pitt have entered the transfer portal. Senior forward Amber Brown was the first to do so, followed by several others, including other star senior Daishanette Harris. The duo was the first and third leading scorers for Pitt this past season. We can expect a large rebuild for the women's program as they move forward. Now, as much as it saddens me to say, basketball season is over here at Pitt, although I'm pretty sure we're all still locked in to our March Madness brackets. At least I am. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Erin Clark. Mia, Margot?
Thank you so much, Erin. I'm locked in. Are you locked in?
Absolutely.
In 2024, Pittsburgh will host the NCAA basketball tournament.
Duquesne University is considered the host, and PPG Paints Arena will host the first and second rounds next year.
In gymnastics news, Pittsburgh is hosting the NCAA Gymnastic Regionals next week on March 30th to April 2nd.
Our very own Panthers competing are Hallie Copperwheat, Rena Garvey, and Natalia Pollock.
We wish them the best of luck next week. Nino Bonacorsi won a national title last week in the NCAA final in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Did you see those victory lights on this weekend?
I did.
Nino, a redshirt senior, is the first Panther wrestler that has won a national title since 2008.
Nino defeated senior Tanner Sloan of South Dakota State in a 5-3 match.
Nino shared special moments with Coach Gavin and his family members.
Tell us about your dad.
Oh, my dad's been there for, he's my number one guy. He's my supporter. He's been my coach since I started wrestling. I remember going to youth practice, and he would, I remember him teaching me how to hit a single leg. And there I did. I hit a single leg to win the national title. So it's full circle, and he's my best friend, and this is all. Couldn't have done it without him.
Wow, what a great end to a wrestling career. We want to give Nino our sincerest congratulations for his win.
Each week, we have the pleasure to be joined live by younger generations of broadcast students in high schools across Pennsylvania.
This week, we are joined live with Montour High School located in McKees Rocks.
Let's take a look at what's going on with the Spartans. Spartans.
Hello, Margot and Mia. Thank you for having us here on this Friday morning. On March 6, 2023, the Montour High School introduced their very first protein bar. The Hilltop Protein Bar is open to all students during the first 4 periods of their morning. Let's take a look at its impact.
As you can see, the protein bar 2023, Montour High School introduced their very first protein bar.
This initiative was pursued to help assure that students and student athletes were receiving all of the nutrients their bodies needed in order to stay healthy and perform at their best. It also replaces the typical sugar packaged snack cravings and other low nutrition temptations students often seek out.
Due to the new additions, there are now a variety of healthy options such as smoothies, protein bars, and even protein powder.
Smoothies are priced at a reasonable $3 with an optional $1 scoop of protein powder that can be integrated into the drink. And for an even cheaper alternative, students can buy a protein bar for just $1.
I really like the new protein bar and the alternatives that they provide contrary to the old cafe.
It also makes me think that the Montour administration really cares about the Montour student body.
Obviously one of my goals is to make sure that we're providing healthy options to kids so that, again, regardless of their lifestyles, they have various options for snacks or to supplement, their lunches. So that's where we're at, and so far it's been a huge success.
The protein bar had a huge success on its opening day, with more and more students that visit the protein bar to promote a healthy meal plan as a breakfast substitute.
Thanks to this lovely gift from the Montour administration, the lively and happy spirit of the Montour community will continue to be cultivated and progress towards a happier lifestyle.
As you can see, the protein bar has been a huge success here at Montour High School, and the district is looking forward to providing more additions as the year progresses. Overall, it seems as though students are looking forward to the improvements that will make to the Montour community. Here at Montour High School's Bus Loop, I'm Daniel DeVille.
And I'm Paulina Sanchez. Margot, Mia.
Wow, I know I'm hungry after watching that. Have you guys had a chance to check out the protein bar?
Yes, we definitely have. It is super nice. They have all the latest technology and lots of great options that are healthy alternatives for all students.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Each week, Pitt to the Point has the honor of recognizing a University of Pittsburgh alumni that continues to impact our community and make Pitt proud.
That's right, Margot. This week, our alumni spotlight is Casper Peters, who has a wild career in zookeeping.
Let's take a look.
At the level that I'm at, I rotate around between a bunch of the different animal sections and help with things like feeding, cleaning, keeping like records, doing like tracking enrichment and tracking weights and things like that. And then just in general, like helping take care of the animals. My favorite part is probably kind of just doing some of the training stuff or some of the enrichment. Anything that lets me kind of get like a more closely like one-on-one kind of interaction with an animal or a couple animals to kind of familiarize myself with them and like build a bond with them. So some of the animals are like the little blue penguins, for example, they're sometimes a little more skittish, so they don't necessarily like come right up and want to see what you're doing. But if we're in there cleaning and moving slowly, they might come up and then come check you out. And that's a cool thing to kind of build that trust there. Sometimes we'll be like trying to scrub and one of them will come over, like grab the hose or something and like try to play with it. I usually say that they're my supervisors. They're doing my quality check and everything like that, just making sure I'm doing it right. Hippos, for example, they're super smart and they will definitely recognize individual people. And so spending time with the hippos in the morning and doing their training that we do, and kind of like getting them to learn new things and learn the way that each person does things, that's probably my favorite, is just kind of working on like relationship stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of work. It can be a little bit daunting to get into, but I think it's totally worth it if you can get in it. I love my job. It's great.
Wow, that makes me want to go to the zoo. Mia, what's your favorite zoo animal?
I don't think there's any sharks at the Pittsburgh Zoo, but if there was, I would be there in a heartbeat.
She loves sharks.
Sure do.
After the break, we will be informing you on downtown parking updates.
Stay tuned to hear from our business and technology reporter on some new inventions.
We will be right back.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
Welcome back. An engineering software company known as Ansys has been working alongside Pitt to support academic startups.
For more on the story, let's hear from our business and technology reporter, Maggie McLeod. Maggie?
Most students at the University of Pittsburgh are aware of Swanson School of Engineering, but have you ever wondered who Swanson actually is? Well, the answer to this question lies in the Pittsburgh-based company Ansys, whose founder and Pitt alum, John Swanson, has funded the Pitt engineering program and whose educational programs have made some pretty remarkable innovations both at Pitt and around the world.
Pittsburgh-based Ansys mostly focuses on developing engineering software, but the company's academic program, headed by Susan Coleman, are focused on helping new engineers thrive.
The academic program at large at ANSYS basically aims to arm the next generation of engineers with the power of simulation so that they can tackle, engineering challenges and be prepared to solve those in the best way. Pitt is a great strategic customer of ours. We work with the mechanical and materials engineering department there, and our software is available for students to use, and it's also used within curriculum as well.
And it's not just Pitt reaping the ANSYS benefits. There's the obviously named ANSYS Hall at Carnegie Mellon University, and the company's academic influence is felt in some places much further away from Pittsburgh.
With the University of Pretoria in South Africa. So they use our fluids software to understand wind patterns on this remote island that's actually protected. It has so many thousands of species of endangered animals there. So they needed to understand how to drop poison to kill the rats to protect the animals that were there. So they used our software to understand exact drop points and, where to place it in order to achieve the intended results.
ANSYS is a successful company in its own right, but Coleman's most rewarding part of her job is seeing the result of being able to give back.
We've seen students that have gone on to found their own startups, develop solar cars, all different things, and it's just great to see the simulation be stitched into their success.
And if your gears are starting to turn and you're wondering how you can make your engineering project a reality, ANSYS offers a variety of free resources for students, including over 280 innovation courses on how to use simulation. From Pitt to the Point, I'm business and technology reporter Maggie McLeod. Margot and Mia.
Thanks, Maggie. An alarming number of Pittsburgh residents are living with chronic health needs.
These needs are left untreated due to a lack of resources that is affecting Pittsburgh's most vulnerable residents.
This week's Medical Minute has insight on a new program launched by Pittsburgh EMS in the Office of Community Health and Safety that may help.
Take a look.
In Pittsburgh, the number of deaths of treatable diseases are on the rise. Recently, Pittsburgh EMS and the Office of Community Health and Safety devised a new program to help those most in need and hope to provide more long-term assistance. I had the privilege to talk to John Mooney to learn more.
The program in the current state, we've been piloting it for a little bit over a year. We work in partnership with social workers provided by the city's Office of Community Health and Safety. And what we're doing right now is our crews, if they encounter a patient that is not having one of these imminently life-threatening emergencies, or if they have encountered this patient multiple times because they've called 911 multiple times, we ask for a referral. Myself and one of my social work partners from the Office of Community Health and Safety tries to go out and interact with this patient and really try and get to know what's going on. And then we see what additional medical support or what additional social supports we can connect these patients to.
Then I asked John what they hope to see in the Pittsburgh community with the new program launched.
What I want to see is we build some better pathways. I think if you look at the trends, there is a shortage and an anticipated worsened shortage of primary care providers. My hope is through the work of this program, we are able to, navigate and forge better pathways to get patients connected up to the most appropriate resources to get them the best, most efficient help.
The University of Pittsburgh proudly supports the arts, not just on its Oakland campus, but it's on its regional campuses as well.
That's right, Mia. Pitt Johnstown hosts a classic vinyl concert series that draws crowds from all over the state.
Our regional campus reporter, Aiden Dean Dunn, has more on this music frenzy. Aiden.
Well, music is doing what music does best, and that's bringing people together. At the State Theater at Johnstown, a theater opened almost 100 years ago, are albums being played that are 50 and 60 years old. And they're being played to audiences that range from 7 to 7D. People who can come together to sing, dance, and have a good time.
The theater is trying to be an anchor point for revitalizing the town. The theater originally was a movie house, a movie theater. And then at some point, I think it was in the 60s, it closed and empty and dilapidated for decades. And so Eric Rygard and his wife Amanda decided that they wanted to try to revitalize the theater. We proved to investors and backers that this was a feasible idea, because what we proved was you can sell out that building. We have done it 5 times now. We've had 5 shows and all 5 shows have sold out. And I kind of wanted to remind people of how great complete albums could be. You know, there's a an artist used to have concepts that they wanted to share with people, both in sounds and in thought. And the way to do that was to make this work of art within a whole album. So it's a complete story. It's a complete entity. And I think to a degree that has been lost quite a bit. And not everybody. There are some artists out there still making whole albums.
Now, Professor Webb's point is not to insult or demean artists and albums today. It's to show the importance and the value in the way that the meaning of art can last and endure across generations. The way that a mother and a daughter and a grandmother can listen to an album and still find value in it all the same. For Regional Campus Reporting at Pitt to the Point, I'm Aiden Dean Dunn. And now we're going to bring it back to the city with our Pittsburgh City beat reporter, Allie Ross. Allie?
Thanks, Aiden. In March of 2020, the COVID pandemic sent millions of Americans home to do their work and their school remotely. And 3 years later, employers are still struggling to convince their employees to come back to the office. For PNC Bank, the solution lies in making parking a little bit easier. Downtown Pittsburgh has made a slow economic recovery since COVID-19 emptied out its offices in favor of remote work. Today, the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership estimates that more than half of downtown residents work from home for 2 or more days out of the week. Besides the conveniences of working remotely, this issue has only been exacerbated by increased crime in the neighborhood. But solutions may be coming. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reports that PNC Financial Services Group is one of the Pittsburgh businesses finding creative answers to this problem. PNC officials have created the Pittsburgh Commuter Parking Program, which will provide free parking to employees for 60 days if they return to the office. Roughly 500 employees could benefit from the program. However, the parking itself will not be downtown. Instead, PNC is offering parking spots to its employees on the North Shore in Gold Lot 1 of Acrisure Stadium. The bank will run shuttles free of charge from the stadium to its downtown offices. The shuttles will operate for limited hours in the morning and evening, only on weekdays. According to the Post-Gazette, PNC has also made arrangements to have Pittsburgh police at these pickup and drop-off points for employee safety. And after that 60-day period passes, PNC employees will still be able to park in Gold Lot 1 for a discounted daily or monthly rate. Now, this parking program is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to making downtown a more attractive neighborhood for workers and residents. Just this week, Allegheny County Police resumed patrols with Pittsburgh City Police to try to contain and deter some of the crime that has really come to define the neighborhood over the past year. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your city beat reporter, Allie Ross. Margot, Mia?
Thanks, Allie. Stick around to learn more about some Still City exciting news from our entertainment reporter.
After we return, we will hear from our city sports reporter about the Pittsburgh Pirates heading back on the field in just a few weeks. Mia, do you like to dance? I know I do.
Absolutely. I know I have some moves.
I'll have to check those out this weekend because the University of Pittsburgh is holding their annual Pitt Dance Marathon all day tomorrow.
So sounds like a dance-off between you and me.
You're on. We'll be right back, Pittsburgh.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
Welcome back. The Pitt Dance Marathon is taking place this Saturday, noon to midnight, and they will raise money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
The Children's Miracle Network is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping children in need for the circumstances they are under.
I had the chance to sit down with co-founder of the Children's Miracle Network, Marie Osmond. Take a look.
So 40 years this year, like I said, congratulations.
Thank you.
What made you want to start Children's Miracle Network hospitals?
I was doing an award show. It might have been a People's Choice Awards, but I was with John Schneider and we were doing a tribute. Anyway, long story short, we were backstage and a woman came up and said, "Hey, we'd love you two to do this charity." And I loved doing things, especially for children. And they said, John said, "Great." And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And she goes, "No, Marie, you can't. You just did one for this cause and we can't have you on this cause." And I thought, that is wrong. And I started doing research into these charities and I saw that, you know, maybe 30-40% actually got to the cause after all the overheads and everything else. And also all these different like accident victims, whether it was a heart disease or a cancer or whatever, they all had to be treated in children's hospitals. And then I realized that Children's Hospital was last on government funding. And I said, guys, we really need to do something here.
So out of all of those children, I bet all of their stories are so inspirational.
Oh my goodness.
And you've definitely gotten the chance to meet some of them. So can you tell me about some of the more inspirational or more to your heart stories that you've ever heard?
You have a month. I love these kids so much. I could tell you story after story. Statistics prove that everybody will use a children's hospital at some time in their life. One of the first heart transplant survivals, and he was sitting on my lap. That's back when we used to do a telethon. And he was sitting and they were counting to come to me. We're going to be with you in 20 seconds. And they were counting down and he was sitting on my lap and I could feel his little heart beating. And I thought, wow, you know, what a miracle. And right by the camera were two women. And the one woman said, "Thank you for giving my son life." And I thought she was the doctor, the mother talking to the doctor. And then the woman answered back and said, "Thank you for letting my baby live on through yours." And it was just so powerful too. When it says Miracle Network, I mean, that's what it is. And nothing that you could give a family that could be any better than the gift of their child's life or their grandchild or whatever. And so here I'm emotional. You know, I've done some pretty amazing things in my life and there's nothing that I love more than this.
Not allowed to make it public yet, but the University of Pittsburgh's Dance Marathon is
I know what it is.
Without telling us, without giving away the news,
won't.
can you tell us your thoughts on the University of Pittsburgh's Dance Marathon and what they've been able to achieve?
They are such a template for success. The passion that these kids have, the love they have for helping these kids, they have fun doing it. That's the greatest thing, is they really do have fun. You know what? I just think they're great. And I think the reason why Pittsburgh is so successful, because I'm a Steelers fan and I have a terrible towel, okay? But I love Pittsburgh and the people. They really are passionate, and you can tell by this wonderful dance-a-thon that you guys do. Maybe I'll drop in sometime.
To midnight on CBSN. Also, Pitt Tonight presents Love on the Lawn this Saturday from 3 to 6:30 p.m. on the Cathedral Lower Lawn.
This event will highlight some amazing musicians while fundraising for some remarkable organizations.
Hey, don't forget the live performances.
Of course, go to Pitt Tonight on their Instagram to claim your free ticket. Since 1994, Pittsburgh has hosted its very own Comic-Con called Steel City Con.
This year's Steel City Con will be taking place March 31st to April 2nd.
Our entertainment reporter, Anthony Siki, has more on this Pittsburgh event that attracts national guests. Anthony?
Thanks, gals. Well, comic book conventions are one of the largest celebrations of pop culture, and anyone can attend, but we here in Pittsburgh are lucky enough to have our own. Now, Steel City Con is Pittsburgh's comic book convention, bringing celebrities from all forms of media to the Pittsburgh area since 1994. But in recent years, it's sort of been a divisive topic among fans here in the Steel City. Steel City Con is Pittsburgh's premier comic book convention, bringing celebrities from all forms of pop culture to the Monroeville Convention Center. This year brings a cast of celebrities including Steve Burns from Blue's Clues and Nancy Cartwright, better known as the voice of Bart Simpson. With the convention bringing big-name celebrities like these, the fans are sure to follow, bringing over 10,000 fans and 750 vendors during their multiple conventions each year. With such a large fan base, overcrowding has become somewhat of an issue in recent years with the growth of the convention.
There was a bottleneck right in front of where you can buy photo ops, where people are exiting the line for photo ops, where the only signage for where anything is in the entire convention was. The pathway in that point is probably about 2 to 3 people wide, expecting like 5 lines to be there.
While the crowds pack the Monroeville Convention Center, this doesn't keep fans away from the convention. Cosplay competitions, homemade memorabilia, the sense of community, and, of course, the celebrities bring back fans annually.
And it's just this place where you can meet up with people who have similar interests to you. You can either, become long-lasting friends, or you may see them time to time and just enjoy their company.
Steel City Con draws fans from around the country thanks to the large amount of media the convention covers. Examples range from horror to professional wrestling while still having room for anime. And with it being a comic convention, there will of course be a wide range of attractions for fans of superheroes. Steel City Con will continue to be one of Pittsburgh's great pop culture conventions, bringing fans from all forms of media to the Pittsburgh area. From superheroes to horror movies, Steel City Con has something for anyone who has any interest in pop culture here in the Pittsburgh area. Now, the convention is actually happening next weekend, March 31st through April 2nd, with questions about crowding still up in the air, but there's absolutely no question about the great cast of celebrities who will be attending next weekend. For more information about that, you can actually head over to their website, steelcitycon.com. From Pitt to the Point, I'm your entertainment reporter, Anthony Siki. Mia, Margot.
Thank you, Anthony. For our Clubbing at Pitt segment, we highlight one club from the University of Pittsburgh that is creating social, professional, and academic opportunities for students on campus.
This week, we are highlighting a close-knit organization that teaches students to knit and crochet for a good cause.
Today's clubbing segment is called Knitsburg. Take a look.
Welcome to Club Hoppers. We're in Knitsburg.
Knitsburg is a lot of things. It's kind of just a space where you can come and learn a new skill or work on a project that you've been putting off, or just like take a break from school. I feel like it's really hard to find time to indulge in like creative hobbies with school. So I think having an hour per week allotted to, okay, I'm going to Knitsburg, I'm going to work on this project, is really helpful to like de-stress. Right. We meet once a week. We meet every Thursday. 9 to 10 p.m. in the cathedral. We try and keep the rooms the same, but sometimes they switch up. So you just have to look in our emails and on our Instagram to find out where. So today we are doing our first big charity sale. We're supporting Brookline Teen Outreach, and we have been working the whole semester making sellable items. This is our first time doing something like this since I've been in the club. So we're trying to get back into our roots as a service club and sell some of our stuff for charity. It's so amazing to be able to create something and have a vision for something and then know how to make it out of essentially nothing, out of yarn. And now that I've gotten more into it, I get to see so many different artists and how they're using it. So I'm constantly being inspired and motivated to try new things with it.
Come check out Knitsburg.
We cannot thank you enough for tuning in to Pitt to the Point. After the break, we'll hear from our city sports reporter on some Pittsburgh Pirates news.
Speaking of Pirates baseball, we also have some fun visitors that visited the campus this weekend.
Stay tuned to hear more about these Pittsburgh icons.
hungry, we will. If this sounds familiar, that is because it is the slogan for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's right, Margot. The Pittsburgh Pirates have been gearing up in their spring season to get ready for the summer.
Despite their lackluster spring season, things are looking up with a new announcement for starting pitcher for opening day.
Our city sports reporter, Amelia Pearson, has more. Amelia?
Thanks, girls. Now, opening day is less than a week away. And with that, some questions have been made by Pirates fans. But don't worry, we have an update on the hometown team.
Had a lackluster spring training performance in Bradenton, Florida, as they currently sit 12th out of 15 teams in the Grapefruit League, in front of only the New York Yankees, New York Mets, and Miami Marlins. With a negative 29 run differential, fans aren't expecting much from the team this season. But there is hope. In a video the Pirates posted to Twitter, pitcher Mitch Keller was told by manager Derek Shelton that he would be on the mound for opening day against the Cincinnati Reds.
How did your side go?
Good, really good. Yeah. Really good. Threw to Bolecki for the first time, so that was good.
Good.
Getting him in there. Just went over 4 batters, like some stuff. So
How many did you throw?
Probably like 20 or so. I didn't really count.
20?
20, 25.
Okay. How many do you think you'll throw in 30th?
I got no idea. What's 30th?
Opening day.
Come on. Oh my god, dude. Oh, dude. This is awesome.
Very well deserved.
Oh my god.
The Pirates will start their season with 6 away games and then make their 2023 debut at PNC Park on April 7th to face the Chicago White Sox. Now, I don't know what I'm more excited about, baseball being back or that pierogi race. From Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Amelia Pearson. Mia, Margot.
I'm super excited. I got to pull out that McCutcheon jersey again. I am so looking forward to April.
In other Pirates news, if you have ever been to a game, you may have seen some potato-filled dumplings running around at the end of the 5th inning.
You mean pierogies?
Hey, I'm not from around here.
It feels great. I'm so excited to be here. It's so much fun. It's nice out. I like the pierogi race. I was so excited for that. I'm a big lifelong fan of the pierogies. Like, I just love them so much, so I was so excited to see them race rock. I really like the food. There's some really good food out here, so I was excited for that too.
Today I'm with Pitt Eats and we're tabling, but I am the Pitt Eats videographer for their TikTok, so I'm mostly just getting content and things to put on the page about the event. There's a lot of clips of the pierogies and the race and rock. We just kind of got that. It's mostly the mascots. They were very entertaining.
To see these pierogies on their home field, attend a Pirates home game from PNC Park.
Absolutely, Mia. Also, if you want to see us, you can catch our show every Friday at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh's YouTube page.
If you just so happen to miss it, never fear. You can see a replay of the show at 11 this Saturday on CBSN, KDKA's streaming platform.
Well, Mia, that brings us to the end of today's show. And our last show is Anchors.
We hope you tune in next Friday for another exciting show of Pitt to the Point and see our new anchors and plenty of new faces heading on air. For the last time, I'm Mia Wadella.
And I'm Margot Rensel. And I don't know if you guys could tell this, but we're actually best friends in real life, or at least I think we are.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to sit up here with anyone else.
Aww.
Can't thank you enough for this opportunity.
Pitt to the Point is your #1 news source for all things happening at Pitt, all the way to the point.
We can't thank you enough for tuning in this morning to Pitt to the Point.
Catch you next week.